There's an abortion clinic in Indiana that's really upset right now. And you want to know why? Because they can't dispose of their aborted babies in a landfill. Welcome back to Bible Bears, everyone. I'm Ryder Cullison. Before we get into this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Alright, so there is a bill in Indiana that was signed by Mike Pence back in 2016, which basically says that the law requires that babies that have been aborted must either be interred, buried, or cremated. Now, an abortion clinic in Indiana, as I mentioned, Women's Med Group Clinic, has filed a lawsuit. And here's what the gist of their lawsuit says. I quote, "These laws send the unmistakable message that someone who has had an abortion or miscarriage is responsible for the death of a person. As a result, they have caused many abortion and miscarriage patients, including Jane Does 1, 2, and 3, to experience shame, stigma, anguish, and anger." To sum up, the abortion clinic and 3 unidentified women in their lawsuit are basically saying, by forcing us to bury our babies or cremate them, you're suggesting that the baby that we aborted is a person. And by suggesting that that baby is a person, you're suggesting that we've murdered a person. And that makes us feel bad about ourselves. I mean, what's society coming to when I can't take my baby and throw it into a landfill without feeling bad about it? Women's Med Group Clinic says if they win the lawsuit, they will dispose of the tissue first by incineration and then placing the tissue in a sanitary landfill. I didn't know landfills could be sanitary. But you see the language that they're using. They will dispose of the tissue. Alright, now, in this lawsuit, Jane Does 1, 2, and 3 all had abortions at about 6 weeks of pregnancy. So this is what a child at 6 weeks gestation looks like. Now, you understand that the lawsuit refrains from identifying a 6-week-old baby as anything but tissue. That makes it more acceptable to take it and toss it into a landfill. So what's the difference then between cremation and incineration? I didn't know. When you inter an individual or cremate an individual, that is accompanied by a ceremony. What you typically see at a funeral. There is a spiritual ceremony, a Christian ceremony, something of that sort. When you incinerate a child or an individual, there is no ceremony. You're not placing really any worth. You're basically saying this individual is not worthy of a ceremony. A ceremony to send that person's soul into heaven. When you do that for tissue, you're assigning personhood to that tissue. And by assigning personhood, you're basically suggesting that abortion is murder. And that makes people feel bad about themselves. Listen, guys, if you think I'm making fun of these people, I am. We have lost our minds in this world. Okay? Look, I'm not here to shame anyone who's had an abortion. Clearly, I would encourage people not to get abortions. According to at least one survey I've heard, abortion is down significantly, which is great news. That's great news. I'm tired of all these people pushing abortion. It's in many ways a eugenics practice. But what I would like to say is, if you do have an abortion and you feel bad about it, embrace it. Don't file a lawsuit. That's your spirit within you saying, look, you've done something wrong. We all do things wrong. We all feel shame about things. Jesus said, I didn't come into the world to judge it, but to save it. Jesus is here to save us. He departed this earth. He sent the Holy Spirit to us as a guide. When you go to an abortion clinic, if you don't feel good about the decision you're about to make, turn around and walk out. Don't let anyone coerce you into getting an abortion, into getting something that you don't want. If you're still having doubts, look at the ultrasound. Look at the ultrasound. Look at the baby that's breathing inside of you, that has a heartbeat. Don't think of that merely as tissue that you could just toss into a sanitary landfill like the Spartans discarding their babies that weren't up to snuff. You have a Holy Spirit in you that helps you make judgments, sound judgments, in accordance with the love of Christ. You're pregnant. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but man, you're going to love that child. Don't toss it in a landfill. That's all I got to say. Guys, please leave your comments below. I'd like to hear what a sanitary landfill is like. Do you agree with this lawsuit? Is it too religious? Is it too spiritual? Or are we assigning personhood to this so-called clump of cells by having an interment or a cremation ceremony for them? I'd love to hear your comments below. If you like this video, subscribe, share, and give me a thumbs up. As always, I love you, and have a blessed day.